Hi, hello, welcome. If you are new to the space, my name is Liliana, aka Ihakekura. I am a psychic medium, spirit communicator, artist, and working witch. And I welcome you into the space with me. Thank you for being here. Today, what we're going to be talking about are January astroscopes. So what are astroscopes, you may be wondering? Astroscopes are where I channel messages for my guides, my spirit guides, for each beautiful astrological sign for the month ahead. So for this month, for this recording, this video, we're going to be talking about January 2022. And yeah, so when we get into these videos, or when you're watching for your sign, I want to encourage you to watch the videos for your sun, moon, and rising. If you're not familiar with or you don't know what your moon or rising signs are, I'm going to provide a link in the description below for you to learn that. And you will need your birth time, but if it's not accessible to you, that's okay. There'll be more details in the link. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, welcome. All right, so January 2022 astroscopes. What do my spirit guides have to say for you? I'm just going to burn use a little bit of smoke to invite in clarity. And if you feel comfortable to do so and you're in a space which it's safe for you to do so, I'd like to invite you to go ahead, close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. And another deep breath in through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. Beautiful. So I'm going to be using a couple of my favorite sprays, my favorite mists. This is Violet Mist. This is by Moon Nectar Apothecary, and they are a color and gemstone infused mist that support our energetic points. And so the next one I'm using is Violet. These are my favorite. They smell divine. I use them prior to any session. I use them when doing any kind of spiritual work, communicating with my guides, or just like when I need to ground back into my body. They bring me back into center. And then the other spray that I love and I always use is this beautiful abundance spray by Money Witch. And abundance isn't just about monies, right? Like, it's not just about finances, which, yes, please, thank you. But abundance is also applicable to peace, joy, love, stability, happiness, pleasure, clarity, communication, right? And so I'm going to provide the links in the description below for those beautiful, juicy items if you're curious. And also, support small business and support fellow witches who, because, witches change the world. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so we're going to be pulling cards for beautiful Aries. And usually, we already have one card, but when I'm pulling these, I like to ask, if you find yourself kind of like, I want to pull cards for myself, I always ask, what is it that we need to know? What is it that I need to know? What is it that I need to hear? So that's what I'm asking for each sign. I'm asking my guides, what does the month of January 2022 have in store for our beautiful Aries BBs? There's one more. Oh, two more. Okay, so we have hidden messages, air, reflect, and fire. All right, All right, Aries. So the month of January is going to be a month of revelation. What you may discover is within your bodies, within your energetic bodies, mind, like mental, emotional, and physical, we are feeling like we're hearing that intuitive call, right? Like our gut speaking, our intuition coming through and saying, hey, look, there's something more here. There's something that's pulling you into a direction, whether it be physical or internal, that is asking you to reflect, for you to sit with yourself and really look at this bigger picture. What is my higher self, what is spirit, God, whomever you subscribe to, my intuition, my gut telling me to do, to notice, to bring my focus and awareness to when it comes to the change that I am after. So you being a fire sign, fire is beautiful. Fire is constructive and destructive. It is regenerative, right? Probably said that incorrectly, but it when we're experiencing, I'm here in California, so there's a lot of wildfires. Fires naturally, they wipe out, right? Like they can destroy, or they do destroy, they leave death or destruction. But what comes after is growth. And if growth is what you're after, we need to look within ourselves what needs to shift, what needs to change. So for you, beautiful Aries, harness, tap into your the fire that is within you, because that fire is power, that fire is strength, that fire is passion. And we don't have time in 2022 to ignore what it is that we want for ourselves. Okay, so what is it that you are keeping hidden, or have been keeping hidden, or been hiding, avoiding and naming as what your truths are, because your truths are worth living. All right, my loves. Beautiful. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you. So now let's get into beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Taurus. What does Taurus have in store for the month of January 2022? Right, so we have, okay, we're going to pull those two as well. Yeah, okay, so we have abundance, caution, cycles, and birth. All right, Taurus. What January has in store for you is opportunity for materialization of something that you've been after. So whether it be like, it almost feels more like it's something that's gonna be in physical form, it's gonna be tangible. So whether it be like a relationship, whether it be a move, perhaps it's like you've been wanting to buy a home and they finally they accept the offer. You've been wanting to move into a new position within your career. This month feels very juicy for you. It feels very solid. It feels very what is the word that I'm looking for? The foundation, if you will, the figurative foundation for you this month feels very secure and ripe. It feels abundant. But we need to be mindful of what we are, how much we're pushing. We need to be mindful of the steps, our actions that we take when it comes to bringing to life what it is that we're working towards, what it is that we're desiring. There is, as you heard me say earlier, abundance, isn't only tied to money and finances. It comes in all forms. For you, though, this month, it does feel like money may be not necessarily an area of concern, but just be mindful of how much of yourself financially, energetically, time that you put into what you're wanting to create, what you're wanting to birth. There is, give me just a moment, they're speaking. We want to be sure that what you're investing in is supportive of what you're wanting to create, what you're wanting to birth. They're expressing concern that we have a fixation, or not a fixation, but we can become fixated or hyper-focused on a thing that we're wanting to bring in, right? That we're wanting to create, and we continue to utilize or turn to cycles, habits, patterns that were once supportive, but no longer are, and they leave us feeling depleted of our resources. So just pay attention this month to these cycles, to these patterns, to your habits when it comes to birthing what you wish to desire. And that's not just for this month, but again, this month feels juicy and it feels ripe for the picking. It feels very solid, but don't feel pressured into investing more of yourself if it's not needed, right? Like there's a difference where we can say, oh, you know what, yeah, this feels really good. I have the extra time, I have the energetic bandwidth, I have the emotional capacity to give more, versus I am freaking tired, but if I don't give more of myself, then X, Y, and Z will fall through. That's not true. All right, boos. I hope that's supportive for you, and I hope you hear that and receive it with love. Okay, so now we go into beautiful, beautiful Gemini. Let's see. So we have hidden messages, surrender, duality, full moon power. I love seeing this duality card with Gemini because Gemini, I think stereotypically is most commonly known as like having these two versions or aspects or characteristics, right? Like they naturally they have a balanced relationship with a duality that already lives within them. So I love seeing that there. All right, so let's see what January has in store for you. Okay, so for the month of January, we need to pay attention to conversations, narratives that we've been having with ourselves, and like connecting with our emotional body and how we are supporting ourselves. How have we been lifting ourselves up, or how have we been pushing ourselves down? There's this feeling of the body of like wanting more, wanting more, wanting more, but this contraction or this resistance, conflict, if you will, with what they're saying is who we are by day versus who we are by night. Sometimes that makes me feel like as an extroverted introvert, like being in front of a camera is easy for me. I'm like, okay, I can be myself, it's cool. But when I'm around a lot of people, I kind of go into like my introverted self, and I'm more of a watcher. And so what they want to say is that whether it be characteristics like that for yourself, or the way in which you are present within your career with, they're talking about like the way in which you create, right? Whether it be like artistic projects or relationships, again, your career, we have to surrender to the beautiful complexities that make us who we are. Each individual, not just Geminis, but each living person, we are beautifully complex because we carry the capacity to feel emotion. That's what makes being a living person beautiful. That's what makes us different from other beings in the cosmos, right? Because we can experience emotion. And because of that, we also have many different aspects and layers that make us who we are. So you can be sad one moment, and the next, like, we can experience grief and sadness simultaneously with joy and happiness. And if you find yourself this month feeling frustrated with having those simultaneous feelings, or feeling frustrated with, you know, how you're being seen, we ask you to come back into your bodies. We ask you to reflect in front of a mirror and ask yourself, what is it that I'm really struggling with? Like, what is it that I'm truly having a hard time with? Because they're saying what you may be having a hard time with is not necessarily the fact that people perceive you as two different things, but it's the way that you're viewing yourself. And you're beautiful. You're an amazing, magical, powerful being, and you're unique. Love that, believe it, trust it, and embrace it. All right, my loves. now we're gonna move into beautiful, beautiful Cancers. I mean, y'all are beautiful. I don't think I have a favorite sign. Maybe I do. I think Scorpios, Aries and Scorpios are my favorite signs, I think. Yes, Aries. Those tend to be the ones that I typically get along with the most. And I love Aries for their confidence because it inspires me to be confident. And I'm a Scorpio moon, so I feel like I can understand, I feel seen and heard by fellow Scorpios, and I understand them. So I love those two signs. I mean, I love all of them, but okay, so we have one more card for Cancer. Oh, one more. Okay, beautiful. Cancer BBs. The month of January, we have create, time, abundance, seek. These can't be more literal. Like, truly, the month of January for you, you are truly physically being called, literally being called to create more time to reflect on what abundance means for you and how you relate to it, and seek ways to invite it more in. There's this feeling in the body. What I'm hearing them saying is that naturally you are a giver. Naturally you have this beautiful capacity, the strength of your super strength that allows you to open up and to receive from others, to see others, and to hold space. Like, there is the way in which you relate to your emotional body, not just yours but others, is beautiful. It's dynamic. It is complex in a very multi-layered, juicy way, but they want you to reflect that back on yourself. They want you to make time this month of January, the beginning of the year, to really reflect on what you wish to call in, what you wish to invite in. There's also this feeling in the body of like feeling tired and feeling perhaps not seen, or that emotions and energies aren't being reciprocated. They want to call you in here because some of you who are feeling this way, absolutely true. Yes, it is true that the way in which you hold space for others and show up for others may not be reciprocated, but that does not speak truth to those that are around you and how they feel about you. So what they want you to do this month is, if you find yourself feeling feels, to really reflect and look at the situation for what it is, and to connect with how we receive abundance, how we view abundance, so that we can make shifts where necessary. This is also a lovely, lovely time for you. If abundance, if you're really physically wanting to call it more of it into your life, whether it be more time with friends and loved ones, more time for self, pleasure, joy, money, we need to make it our priority versus making others a priority, okay? You gotta do you, boo. Like, I get it, I totally get it, but my personal belief is that, like, we can be compassionate and we can care for those that are around us, but we have to be number one. Otherwise, how can we show up authentically and fully for others? Does that make sense? All right, my loves. Now, I'm gonna give actually this deck a good shuffle. If y'all are wondering, ooh, what deck is that? What deck is she using? First of all, thank you. And I hope you can get my humor and sarcasm through this, but the deck that I'm using is my very own deck, my first deck that I've created. It is an oracle deck. It is called Passages Oracle Deck, and it is available in my witch shop, and I'll put the link in the description of this video. And if you feel called to this deck and you're loving it, thank you. And you can get yourself a copy. All right, let's move into Leo. This January have in store for Leo? Okay. All right, boos. We have breathe. We have chaos. We have secrets, gratitude, and healing. All right, my loves. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. Whether it be an oracle card or a tarot card, and you see a card that has, you know, chaos or like the Tower or death, don't be afraid of those cards. There are always invitations, messages of energy. Absolutely, they can represent like something physical happening, like something in the material world happening. However, they're never anything to fear, okay? So for you, Leo, the month of January 1, physically, breathe. Stay present with yourselves, stay calm, stay collected. There is this, what they're saying is that this month it's going to be emotional. Okay, it's going to be more connected with your emotional body and your mental body. It's not necessarily reflective of truth that is taking place. There may be events that occur that activate you, that push you into directions or choices that have been needed to be made for some time. They want you to understand that what may take place around you, if it feels chaotic, if it feels emotionally turbulent, if it feels as though you can't find your footing, or we're like taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back, pause. Take time to breathe. Take time to recenter within yourselves and view the situation in its truth and its entirety, okay? Because there are elements to this situation, this revelation, whatever, this discovery, that hasn't fully revealed itself, okay? And so what can support you through this month, through this time, and it may only be, maybe it might only last a few days, it might last the entire month, I don't know, that it depends on you and your situation and your lived experience. What's going to support you though is going to be practicing gratitude. It is going to be practicing gratitude, not necessarily for the material things that you have, but gratitude for yourself, gratitude for who you are and the strength that you have, and being able to make shit happen and make things happen and change. You have choice. Granted, a lot of us, all of us, have different lived experiences. Some of us have privileges that others do not have. And so though we have choice doesn't look the same for every person. And choice can be difficult. Choice is difficult, but you still have choice. And yes, a situation may be difficult, a situation may be sticky, it may be really unpleasant. And I'm not here to say that it's you know, just learn from it, it's gonna be fantastic. No. Crappy situations are crappy because they're crap. Okay, they're hard, they're difficult. However, you have the strength to move through this. You have the strength. If we can't control, we can't control the things that happen to us, around us, but we can control the way in which we choose to respond or react. And if you choose to respond with gratitude, and we reflect on, how does this make me feel? You know, how is this making me feel about myself? Where I'm at in my life, about, you know, does it shift my perspective about my needs, wants, desires, boundaries? Reflect on that, because the purpose of what this turbulence is, as cheesy as it may sound, is for healing. And it's healing so that we can gain a better understanding of ourselves, so that we can move through life with grace, or at least the capacity and how to hold ourselves in moments that are very difficult. But if you find yourself feeling stressed out and be like, oh my God, like, shit, like, excuse me, crap, that interview didn't go well, or I got written up, am I going to lose my job, or that collaboration fell through, I'm not getting as booked as I would have hoped, whatever it may be, I had an argument with a loved one. Know that it's not going to last forever. It's not going to be permanent. You're not going to know the results or see the results or the ripples from this until probably the next month, towards the end of this month. So be gentle with yourselves, be kind with yourselves, love on yourselves hard this month. All right, my loves. Now we're going to move into Libra. What do Libras need to know about the month of January 2022? Let's see what we got for you. Okay. We have connection, surrender, childhood, and water. All right, my loves. So January for you is going to be all about connection. All right. These cards are literal. I love it. January for you, it's all about connection. We need to surrender to the joys, the happiness that we experience, the you know, that energy. What I'm hearing right now is like when you're a child, you don't care about what anyone thinks of you. Obviously, everyone's experience in childhood is very different, and not everyone has had a carefree childhood. But in those moments that we can remember, where we aren't so concerned about what others think of us, we are just living our lives as who we are. That is what we need to achieve this month. Water. What is water? What does water mean? The element of water is associated with our emotional body, our intuition, the way we care for ourselves. It's cleansing, it's healing. That's what this month is for you. It is a healing month. And what a beautiful opportunity to have in the beginning of the year. And so what I encourage you to do this month, Libra BBs, is to reflect on how you have connected with your truths. You know, do you feel like you're living an authentic life that is authentically you? And if you find yourself answering no, then let's surrender to what our truths are. Let's name those things. You know, it doesn't have to happen right away, but that can be a goal of yours, right, for the year. Let me reflect on what is my truth? What does living my truth mean? Who am I? How do I see myself, and how do I live as myself in a way that is true to who I am, that is authentic, and how am I not currently doing that? And if you currently are, you're like, I'm already living my truth, this is fantastic. I politely and lovingly say to you, there is an element or an aspect of yourself that is still slightly either not being fully expressed, embodied, or witnessed. And I say that with nothing but love and respect, and they're calling us in here of, we need to look at it. We need to look, because there's something. It could even be the way in which we just simply made joy a priority. I mean, you may know who you are. You may exactly know who you are. You're already living that way. But perhaps it's you're not prioritizing yourself. You're not prioritizing your joy. You're not prioritizing fun, right? Like when we're children, for the most part, it's like, I love this, right? This is how I want to use my time. So I'm going to use my time that way, right? And we communicate, or we express frustration, or we express our needs because we have a caretaker. But now as an adult, we are our own caretakers. And so are you listening to your own needs? All right? All right, my loves.